lot of people give advice on how you should quit procrastination, but honestly, that's not the actual issue. Let me explain. So starting off, you actually have two types of procrastination. There's bad procrastination and good procrastination. Bad procrastination is pretty much what you'd imagine to be the typical procrastination. It gives you dopamine, it's unlimited, so you can basically do it forever, and it shuts off the brain. And that would be something like using your phone or gaming or scrolling, whatever. Meanwhile, good procrastination, it recovers energy, it's limited, you can only do it for a certain amount of time, and it gives you some thinking time. Now I'll explain why that's good in a second. But a lot of people, when they struggle with procrastination, they struggle with bad procrastination, and that's scrolling, gaming, social media, etc., etc. But from that, the main issue isn't that you're procrastinating, it's that you're allowing yourself to game and scroll social media in the first place. If you set up your systems to be against scrolling social media and for working hard, things like uninstalling it or using app blockers, a long password, having an accountability partner, etc., etc., and you wouldn't be struggling with scrolling social media and gaming. So if you were to just prevent yourself from gaming and social media, this would prevent all of the bad procrastination from happening, because that's pretty much the only thing that you can procrastinate. All of the other type of procrastination, which is the good procrastination, is limited, which means that you can't do it forever. And that'd be things like chores or going for a walk. And the other thing about and one of the great things about going on walks or doing chores is that they recover energy. Social media and gaming don't. And finally, it also gives you some thinking time. If you don't feel like doing a task and you go for a walk, not only will your energy be restored, but it'll also give you some thinking time to be clear on the next key task. You'll be able to split it down and imagine exactly how you'd want to do it. You could also reflect and come up with some new ways to improve it as well. Furthermore, doing things like walks and chores is a part of the 5-minute rule. If you start a task for 5 minutes and you find yourself not enjoying it, you should go for a walk or do a chore. Because if you don't, you'll find yourself spending a lot of energy forcing yourself to be disciplined and work hard. You'll spend all that energy and you'll go, screw this, I want to go back to gaming. So doing these types of chores and tasks, once you've eliminated scrolling and social media, isn't necessarily that bad. Now, the main issue is that it does drain that time. You spend very little energy trying to convince yourself to do it for a lot of the time, but you'll get very little done. And that's one of the main issues that you can run into when procrastinating with these little tasks. Even though they are limited, they can take up a lot of your time in the beginning of the day. So to make sure that in the end you do actually end up completing all of these tasks, what I recommend you do is set an ambitious goal that you really want to get, but it also requires all of your effort. And that'll force you to naturally put in the work without spending the first 2 hours procrastinating and the next 10 hours working, as you'll need to have some breaks in between those 10 hours to refresh your mental energy. But even if you do have an ambitious goal and maybe even have your entire resolve and reason why you should do it, and you also max out all of these to make the task as easy as possible, sometimes you might find yourself procrastinating even though the task is hard. And in the beginning, that's okay, because if you are just starting out, you shouldn't be aiming to be the most efficient. When you start your discipline journey, trying to be the most productive at the very beginning is like going into the gym and trying to beat the world record, which is not how you're supposed to practice being productive and disciplined in the first place. So take it slow. Your first goal should be to quit social media and to quit gaming. Set it up so you can't do bad procrastination and there's only good procrastination left. Then set an ambitious goal that excites you and requires all of your effort. You can also do the rest of the resolve while you're at it, and you can also maximize all of your energy. After a while, you find less and less time where you're procrastinating simply because the work gets easier. You have to do more of the work, so you have to optimize your day, feel a little bit more pressure, and it'll slowly fade away. Don't focus on beating procrastination. Focus on all of the symptoms of it and things that make it truly bad. After a while, it'll naturally fizzle out. Hey, thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any questions, ask them down in the comments and I'll reply to as many as I can. I'm also building a powerful discipline app as well as a Discord server of people who are trying to improve on themselves. You can find out more by clicking the link below.